Happy Halloween, everyone! We're going to keep reading Horrible Harry at Halloween by Susie Klein. Chapter 4, Harry Arrives. We must have stared at Harry for 10 seconds. No one said a word. Finally, Mary broke the silence. "That's no costume! Who are you supposed to be?" We all looked at Harry's neatly combed hair and his suit and tie. His shoes were even polished. Sydney took off her bare head and placed it on his desk. I think it was making him hot. His forehead was dripping wet. "You just get out of church, Harry?" he asked. Harry slowly reached in his jacket and pulled something out. It was a silver badge with the number 714 on it. When he talked, he used a business tone. He was very matter-of-fact. "My name is Sergeant Joe Friday. I carry a badge. I'm from the Los Angeles Police Department. When there's a crime, that's when I go to work." Mary started to make fun of Harry. "You're not scary or even horrible this year. You're just acting silly." Harry shot Mary a look. "Silly? Joe Friday is smart. He solves crimes." Mary scoffed. "Please." Miss Mackle walked over to Harry. "Hello, Sergeant Friday. I know who you are. I used to watch Dragnet all the time when I was growing up. How do you know about him?" Harry answered like a detective. I watch old-time TV, ma'am. Tuesday and Thursday, 6:30 p.m., WNBX, Channel 33. "Well, Sergeant Friday," Miss Mackle said, "you certainly know your facts." "Yes, ma'am, just facts, and this is where I keep 'em." Harry took a notebook out of his pocket and held it up. Mary and some other kids giggled. That morning, shortly after the pledge, Miss Mackle turned off the lights. I'm going to read you one of my favorite Halloween stories, The Headless Horseman, adapted from Washington Irving's classic, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Then she handed 2 students flashlights and sat down on the teacher's chair in front of the room. "Shine the light on me as I read, please." As soon as Ida and Dexter did, Miss Mackle's witch face lit up like a jack-o'-lantern. The raisins that were on her chin and nose really looked like warts. There was a large shadow on her head and hat just behind her. There was a large shadow of her head and hat just behind her on the blackboard. "Ooh," we responded. We all leaned forward as Miss Mackle read the story about Ichabod Crane and his spooky ride through Sleepy Hollow. You could hear a pin drop. When she finished the story, someone started making a horrible groaning sound. "Ooh, ooh." It sounded like they had a bad stomach ache. "Ooh, ooh." As soon as Miss Mackle turned on the lights, we discovered who it was. "It's Sergeant Joe Friday! Look at him!" Mary yelled. Everyone turned and stared at Harry. His suit was up over his head, and he looked like he was headless. Miss Mackle laughed. We laughed too. Suddenly, the teacher stepped outside the classroom. When she returned, she whispered, "Boys and girls, the music teacher is just coming down the hall. Let's have some fun like Harry." Then she pulled her witch's cape over her head. Quickly, everyone moved their costumes up over their heads and waited quietly for Mr. Marks to enter the room. We could hear his footsteps as he got closer. He was humming as usual, "La-ti-da-ti-da," and he entered our room. We heard him scream, "Ah, a class with no heads!" "Happy Halloween!" we shouted before we popped our heads out. "Ah," Mr. Marks sighed. "What a surprise," he said. "You sure fooled me." He clapped and cheered. We had no idea that the next surprise was going to be on us. And that's the end of Chapter 4.